Yeah, it feels kind of funny. Last week, I don't know, it's hard to say what day it is, when you play on Sundays like that, and a Wednesday. So, yeah, starting with last week, Lamar game, I thought we played fairly well the first half, and in the third quarter, those woes kind of came, and we couldn't score, and we couldn't stop them from scoring. A lot of points in the paint are happening right now, and we got to try to fix it, by maybe trying to double the post. There's some things that we can do to kind of fix it, and then we go into North Texas game. Played all right the first quarter, second quarter not as well. Down by four, and then all of a sudden third quarter woes come again, and we just didn't have an answer for their inside game. And so that's something that we really need to work on, and that's what we plan on doing going into the break and all that. Before we come back for conference. Education games important to us. I'm from here. I started a youth program in the '80s, and it started with 40 kids. Now it's 1,500 kids. So I want to continue to grow the game, especially the women's game. So I think it's one of the ways I believe that it starts from the youth, getting them interested in watching the sport, and whether they become a player or a manager or a coach or just a fan of the game. I think that's how you grow it. So that's why we do the education game, and it could be bigger and bigger as we continue to focus on it. It's always at the time where football is finishing and all that, and everybody's busy doing what they're doing. So it's always tough to try to organize it. I thought our marketing people did a great job this year of getting it organized and kind of pushing through it. So I want to thank them for it. But I think it's going to be, I say 3,000. I say that'll be close to 4,000 kids tomorrow. So that's pretty good. My goal is 10, and we'll get there one day.
Okay, so we talked yesterday after yesterday's game of maybe shrinking your rotation a little bit, but then now you have an education. Probably not a shrink the roster kind of a game. How do you plan on handling all that?
Well, doing it in practice. I think that's going to be the biggest thing. We talked about the effort in practice. It's not just the effort in the game where everybody's there watching. We got to have a little bit more effort in practice from the top 8 or 10, making sure that we can find that rotation in. And even kids that are coming back, I know they're fighting some of the injuries and stuff like that, but they need to put a little bit more effort into the practice part of it. And I think once we do that, then we can see more playing time for them too. So yeah, the game tomorrow is going to be, we'll probably play a lot of different lineups and stuff like that. But going into the conference, just hey, we'll practice and we'll prepare for App State as trying to string the lineup probably to at least 10.
So is it just numbers, but it seemed like it's an issue. Okay, what combinations on the floor work together? Because now you have a lot of different people who can handle the ball, and when Lene plays more minutes, she's kind of a ball dominant type player. So what about the combinations?
Yeah, I think that's going to be important, and I'm more worried about the defensive combination than the offensive combination, because you put Lene on the floor and she'll be able to score, and she can play can break down and she can go get scores. That's what I like about her too. But can she defend like the next kid can, or can she rebound? And then that was the issues a little bit right now with her, is we were kind of scared on the defensive side and also the rebounding. Now the last couple of practices it was better, and I had actually brought her a therapy this morning, and we had a little talk about how her efforts got to step up, and she knows it. So, that's going to be one of the things. When she first came here, we were on her butt pretty hard about playing defense, and I laughed because she almost cried every day that we were on her so hard, and those were what made her. So I said, hey, from now on, that's what we got to do. That's the way we got to coach her. So we're kind of excited about her getting a little bit healthier and stuff. But you're right, lineups and all that is going to be extremely important how we play them. But if you shrink it a little bit, I think you have to prepare a lot less people too. We're having 3 hour practice before a game. That's kind of tough to do because of the amount of people that we're trying to rotate in. So we're going to shrink that, maybe shorten the practices a little bit more, and keep the kids that need to develop maybe after practice to do some things to prepare them.
Coach, after dropping the last 3 games, is this game kind of coming at the right time for you guys to build some momentum and work on some things headed into conference play?
Yeah, I mean, nobody gave us a chance at LSU, so I don't know if that's 3 games. It's kind of like you go in there. I thought we played good the first half, and yeah, I mean, I thought the Lamar game we had a chance. We had the line to tie it, and maybe go in overtime, and we missed the free throws. So played well the first half. So, and Lamar's a good team, man. I tell you, I mean, they probably picked to win the Southland. So, really good team. And in North Texas, I mean, I tell you, they 9-1, and they've played some pretty good. The only loss they have is to A&M, so that wasn't a bad team. And I think matchups for us are going to be a big deal. I think Kevin asked that last night about, you know, when we're going to go against teams that are really strong in the post, how are we going to handle it? Is that going to be that like that in our conference? And the Sun Belt normally is not a post-oriented. They're not post-oriented type teams. It's mostly guard-oriented. So except for maybe the East Coast, which we don't. I mean, we've only played 1 year against them, so we're still learning how they play. So yeah, I mean, these games that we played, or we're hoping to prepare us and stuff like that. And I think sometimes you lose. People don't realize you lose, you play bad, might create, some of the things that we really need to wake up on. That's how I look at it. It's like I'm not looking at our team's bad or nothing. We just didn't play up to, our potential. We didn't do the things we need to do. And so this morning, what I saw in the dome was kids working on their weaknesses and stuff. It's part of life, it's part of sports. That's what I love sports, especially basketball, because there's so many things that involve in matchups and all that. So, and we'll work. That's what we've been doing for 12 years. We'll continue to work and try to get better.
You mentioned not knowing what some of the East Coast teams in the Sun Belt do. Is the Sun Belt just filled this year with unknown quantities?
Yeah, big time. With the transfer portal, you just never know. Some of them, I mean, the best player in the conference left and went to Louisville, out of James Madison. So they had to replace, and everybody's kind of, having transfer portal kids come in. And so you don't really know, what type of, I mean, most of the time they're going to get the same kind of kid they need to develop, use in their system, but you just don't know, not playing those teams year after year like we did the Little Rocks. And we knew what we expected out of, what they were going to do. So it's a little different, you got to prepare a little different. And our coaches do a great job, the scouts and all that. And we'll continue to work on that. But it's still about us. Right now, we got to get better at what post defense. We got to do a better job of getting them out the lane. Even like yesterday, you looked at, you thought, well, it was the post that were killing us, but a lot of it was just off of fast breaks too. We press it and they throwing over us, and it's in the lane, but it's really not a post up. So it was a combination of things yesterday.
We talked about things needing to get better. Excuse me. What are some of the things that you've noticed in good things that you liking so far?
I thought against the LSU game, if you notice, man, coming off of screens and stuff, we were really more productive getting the ball to the middle and getting that jump shot. And that's what I've been preaching. I'm a believer in getting the ball to the middle because I'm a defensive coach. It's hard to guard. So being that that's hard to guard, that's what we want to try to do offensively. And I thought you saw Brandy Williams kind of step it up and stuff. And I think we're moving the ball a little bit better and stuff like that. Defensively, I think, we're switching over from a little bit of man to zone. Against LSU, that zone really, really kind of caught them off guard, and kind of they didn't look very comfortable the first half. Now they adjusted to it the second half, but I thought things like that, improving on that, could help us maybe be a little bit harder to scout. Right? I mean, most people knew we were playing man, and this is how we were going to play it. We were going to trap all the ball screens. Now we're doing some things a little different. My thing is we got to be able to do something good too, though. We got to be focused on, hey, what is the thing that we really do good, and then we can play off of that.
Is the idea to kind of get her going early and then going from there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we need to continue to work on that and get confidence. It's to me a lot in the women's side is all about ball. Being confident in what you're doing and feeling comfortable, in that role.
Franklin and Sam, how do you? They both had so little time. They just kind of joined the party, so they look like they have some potential. But you're about to start conference play, so
yeah, we got to go with it. Sam's played in our conference before. She played 2 years at ULM, started, so she knows what the. I mean, she already looks comfortable in what we do. She looked comfortable in the summer, and so coming back, I think it's just a matter of time. I think she'll kind of get in. Unia's, I mean, from Florida, never really, the system we have. She knows it, but she hadn't really played in it. So, LSU was the first Division I game she played in, and she did some good things. But I think it's going to be a growing process for her. I think she's got some potential to help us in spots. It's just going to be, can we get her to be consistent? And I mean, that's a great point. I don't know. I really don't. You know, we'll throw in, but you're gonna see Sam being rotated a lot. Right now, she was limited to 18 minutes last night, so we played her a little bit. I think it's gonna be. I think this next game, she's probably gonna be able to play the whole game. So we'll see. And I mean, even this next game might be good for her to just throw out there and let her play the whole game. You know, and let her get comfortable in what we're trying to do.
Have y'all discussed kind of doing some sort of modified like action with the inside defense? I've got 15 fouls unless you.
We haven't really discussed that, no. But you know, you always giving me good ideas. I mean that's something that's. I mean, you're the one that brought up the third quarter stuff, so you know we're trying to figure that out first, and then yeah, and so
I'm talking
I
about with
mean,
the inside defense.
yeah, inside defense, we really working on it. You know, it's like getting there early. We talk, man. You know, it's like if you late on anything on the inside, it's too late. I mean, you can't do nothing about it. And we rely so much on help from them from the inside, and then we're just being late. You know, and we see it in practice, so we continue to work on it. You know, it's going to be. We talked about it yesterday. Some of our best post defense is our guards. I mean, if you look at Brandy and D. Rice last night when they were pounding inside, they moved those post players out, where our post players aren't quite doing that because they're late. You know, so it's going to be a process. We got to keep on working on it. We have to pressure the ball. We're going to have to pressure the ball more if we're not going to, you know, to stop the inside game because it. I mean, if you make it easy for them to get it inside and you late every time, it's going to be difficult. So it's something that we got to work on, continue to work. We spend a lot of time on defense. We'll spend some more time. All right, guys. Thank y'all.